Very similar to Anderson and Muncie is Kokomo, which has seen a steady decline in manufacturing, evident in many abandoned facilities like this one here, in which no longer is manufacturing done here. So that's one of the challenges in Kokomo. It's seen a steady loss of jobs. So how do you keep and attract young people? That's the number one biggest challenge in Kokomo. And one strategy they've used is by trying to build a baseball stadium. So trying to create an amenity, something in which people want to go watch. And so there's a very, very low-level baseball team in which they're trying to get the funding to do it. But there's some concerns about flooding because of the river, but there's also concerns about toxic waste and all of that. And so that's one of the problems you have with a lot of these areas that have been abandoned after being heavily industrial, is you can't really just turn the land over, knock down the building, and just put a park or start building houses there because of all the toxins and pollutants that have been left behind. Further, one of the things they've done is, as we'll see here in a minute when we look at the population pyramid, is we see definitely a brain drain, especially of young people. And so you're seeing young people are not sticking around in Kokomo. And here's a kind of another example of a swing and a miss. In Kokomo, what they did was they built a skate park. That's for skateboarding and all of that stuff. So they thought that that was going to be a good way to attract young people. But if you go to a skate park, like there's one up there in Carmel, along the Monon Trail, if you go up there, you'll see nothing but 10 to 16-year-olds. Those aren't, as we've seen beforehand, those are forced migrants. Those aren't people that make the decisions for a head of household. And so why that might be seen as something that's young and hip, that not necessarily is going to attract the people who actually can buy a house, the people that actually make decisions in a household, i.e. those that are at least college age or higher. So that's an example of a swing and a miss in which they recognize the problem, but coming up with the right solution is a little bit more difficult. Now, Kokomo does see some investment, some increasing attention from Purdue. So Purdue sees that kind of that community good, in which they see an area in decline, but they're also heavily involved in engineering and motorized stuff. So why not start to kind of create this whole green job energy lab, kind of renewable energy lab here in Kokomo, kind of trying to help out the area. So here you can see the role of Purdue kind of investing in its surrounding areas. And finally, when we look at the population pyramid here in Kokomo, you can see that kind of that absence of young people, those in their 20s and 30s. And so what happens is people graduate from high schools in Kokomo, they don't come back. They don't come, they might go off to college. A few might come back. A few might find jobs here and there locally. But if you look at the top of the pyramid, you see actually the Kokomo average in terms of all those older people is higher than the U.S. average. So this is probably one of the biggest discrepancies we've seen in all the population pyramids at the older age groupings. And so old age dependency ratio, a huge problem in Kokomo. How do you attract, how do you keep, how do you retain a lot of these young people?